Hi, and welcome to Deepwell Archival Services. In today's brief 5-minute video, we're going to discuss the top 3 or 4 issues that typically impact an end-user imaging organization's decision on whether or not to use cloud-based services. And of course, the cloud-based service we're going to focus on is image archival. Of course, at Deepwell, we provide vendor-neutral archive technology as a cloud-based service. So we encounter these issues, and we want to clarify these issues right up front with any potential client that's considering using our cloud-based VNA services. So what are those issues that typically impact any cloud-based services decision? Well, privacy, of course. Who has access to your data? Okay, it's of utmost concern. Security, is your data adequately protected against unauthorized access? Now, what we're discussing here is if you have a relationship with a cloud-based services vendor for 2 or 3 or 4 years, what happens if you want your information back? How do you get that access to your own data, your own information? Okay, we're going to have in the next 3 weeks, we're going to have a separate video on all these different issues. Today we're going to discuss image integrity. Okay, how do we ensure the integrity of the individual medical images that make up your diagnostic studies? Okay, so we're going to, typically, you look at a typical end user, medical image storage environment. You've got the different modalities, and of course the PACS. Typically a PACS system is acquiring diagnostic study data from the different modalities. It's stored on primary storage, and then it's typically ingested through a number of tiers of storage architecture here. So it's a very complex, very expensive environment typically. Now, we believe the cloud creates a very low-cost alternative that can be technologically superior, than the end-user implemented storage solution. But let's look at that. Let's look at what's going on under the covers here. Okay, with our solution, we have our on-site server that we call our enterprise departmental server. Okay, that serves as an online image cache. It's very tightly integrated with the PACS and the PACS primary storage through DICOM storage commitment. We'll discuss that here in a minute. So this is configured to immediately acquire diagnostic study data as it comes into the PACS. PACS acquires a study, writes it to primary storage. We immediately acquire it and create multiple copies in multiple geographically separated storage centers. Okay, we call those our deep archive storage centers. Let's look at what's going on under the covers. How do we ensure your image integrity? Well, first of all, we use DICOM storage commitment. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, well, we acquire a study, we create multiple copies out here, multiple geographically separated deep archive storage centers. We don't notify the PACS of a successful archive until we actually get an acknowledgement of an archive in at least one of our deep archive storage centers. Okay, so once that happens, once we get a successful acknowledgement of deep archive in at least one of our storage centers, we let the PACS know that data is adequately protected. It allows it to free that study up from primary storage. Okay, now remember, this is typically sized for about a year. Okay, the basic diagnostic and treatment period of the patient. So now that information is also sitting here on this on-site image cache on our EDS for 3 or 5 or 7 years. Okay, so we do not allow any of this data to even become eligible for permanent archive until we use a non-DICOM proprietary algorithm for this piece. So until we get acknowledgement that information has been successfully archived in both deep archive storage centers, we won't allow it to be eligible, to be flagged as eligible for permanent archive. So we think we're taking some extraordinary data protection measures to ensure the longevity and integrity of your data. What else are we doing? Well, before we package this data up to be sent to our deep archive centers, we're going to run a checksum. What's that? It counts every bit and byte of information in that diagnostic study, in that file, if you will. Okay, so that if that data is ever retrieved or recovered from our deep archive storage centers, we're going to run that same checksum and make sure that every bit and byte of that data, of that file, is coming back. So we're going to guarantee that we're going to have a precaution and a protection against any data loss or corruption. Okay, so there we've got 3 different levels of integrity. Last but not least, we're going to create automated data migrations to latest, greatest storage technologies as a background process in our deep archive storage centers. That's the only way we can guarantee the longevity of your data. We're going to constantly make sure that it's refreshed to our latest, greatest storage technologies. So we are taking, we think, some extraordinary measures to guarantee the integrity of your data. We'll discuss some of those additional measures that we pointed out when we first started in subsequent videos. We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you on the next video, and thank you for your interest in Deepwell.